from the politicians so that they don't have unlimited access to finances. So there are all these things that we need to look at and we need to fight for, and we need to ensure that they see the light of day. The Constitution is violated in so many ways. That's why we're having this problem. Some do no good and then come up say that they want to amend the Constitution, they want to do whatever. There's no problem with the law. The problem is with the human beings who refuse to obey the law. And every time we have got a problem, people tend to look to the law that we want to amend this one. No, the Constitution is okay. Let us implement it. Let us make all the laws of Kenya aligned to it. And I'm telling you, we shall be able to move this country forward. We shall be able to achieve what is supposed to achieve. Court orders being disobeyed. I've won 3 cases against the state, saying that boards of parastatals must be filled competitively so that people who have the competencies in the area and who are best suited for the place can be given the jobs. What do you have? They have disobeyed those orders. They are still appointing. People have failed in elections. They handpick relatives, friends, and dump them on the boards. If you go to any board in this country today of a parastatal, none of them is professional. The MDs have a problem. They have to keep on giving these people trips. They have to give them all manner of allowances. They have to allow them to make all manner of tenders and contracts. And so, you find a situation whereby parastatals, whose initial conceptualization was to create a developmental state. A developmental state, which means that state that develops people to a point where they can then take off. Like the developmental states that pushed the Asian tigers, that have pushed Turkey to be able to be where they are today. These parastatals of ours became undermined right from independence in 1963. So they have not been able to deliver. You have got orders saying that don't do this, the president is doing it. You have got court orders, don't employ these chief administrative secretaries because it's unconstitutional. You cannot have anybody between the cabinet secretary and the PS. The courts have pronounced it in 2 of my cases, one by Matindi. These pronouncements are there. They are disobeyed. Now these people are sitting in offices that are being paid through cash. Because they carry money from the treasury the way they want, then they pay through cash. So this kind of situation whereby we are unable to implement the Constitution is what we should really look at and say, bottom line, let us implement this Constitution to the letter. And when we implement the Constitution, we shall be beginning a journey towards a destination that Kenyans wished for themselves. Look at our national anthem. In the early 60s, look at the aspirations that Kenyans had. Why are we not able to achieve the blueprint that is in the national anthem? Why is justice not our shield and defender? Why is this country not a land of prosperity? Why are we poorer than we were a few years ago? Why are our young people unable even to access legitimate sex? They cannot marry because they cannot keep wives and husbands. Why? So these are the things that we must look at, and we must confront them, and we must do whatever it takes. Let us throw the kitchen sink at them. Let us demand, not get away from the demand that Ruto must vacate office with this administration and we get a new beginning. Let us not waver from these particular clear deliverables. Let us talk to them as they talk on the spaces. For those of our people who get compromised, that's up to them. Everybody has a melting point. But I know people in this country who have stood up to the challenges, who have fought the good fight, and they still have conviction. But you people have better tools than we had. You people can call each other out without going through KBC. You don't need to be covered by the nation media. You can mobilize, you can organize. And please mobilize, organize, get registered as voters. As we've pushed that the ID should be used as a voting device, before we get there, get registered as voters so that you can choose the next crop of politicians. Because ultimately, politics is how things are done. Politicians are those who make decisions that affect all of us. And as Plato said, if good people don't engage in politics, they leave room for bad people to govern them. So I would really urge you young people to begin organizing among yourselves and see whom do we put where. But also you have seen young people who have been elected and they become vultures, worse than the old hyenas. So let us be able to vet our people. We know each other. You know somebody, if somebody is doing something for cash, it's very easy to tell. If somebody is doing something for conviction, it's also easy to tell. Let us have conviction. Let us also manage our lifestyle. Sometimes why people fall for these things is the kind of lifestyle they have. You get some little money, you buy a very big car, you can't run it, you must be corrupt, you must do all these funny things. And go back to the Bible. Look at the qualities of people who achieve in the struggles. Look at David. How does look at David and Goliath? David was a person of extreme faith. David was a person of great skill in terms of his sling and stuff. And David had integrity. So let us look at, beyond integrity, let us look at the skills that are available. You have talked about education. Education must not remain for the rich. Kenya has got enough wealth to make education from nursery school to graduate to the first degree to be taxpayer funded. I don't use the word free. Free education, not like free education. A taxpayer funded education can be realized in this country. There's no reason why MPs should be given so much money in terms of bursary, governors bursary, MCS bursary, bursary. Why? Those monies are the people which have bribed politicians and compromised them. So let us take that money away from individuals. Let politicians who are in the legislature legislate and oversight and appropriate and represent. They should not execute. Let those who are elected to be executors execute under the supervision of legislators. Because this illicit money, they become slush funds, are the problem of this country. We are wasting so much money, we are losing so much money, and we are not able to govern this country the way it is supposed to be governed. Some courses are useless. Who said that divinity is useless? Who? All courses are important. Let us give the people a chance to study everything that they can study on earth. Let us open up to new ideas. Let us open up the young people to come and do what they can be. Because unless we do that, we are going to end up in more and more difficult situations. And I'm very, very happy that you young men and women came out in the manner you did. You're able to document most of your struggles. In our time, we did not have these smartphones and whatever, so you could hardly get proper documentations. You were beaten up, you were done whatever. Personally, I don't have 10 teeth in my mouth. My skull was broken up in 2 places, plastic there. But we had to continue fighting because we knew that others had paid a higher price. There are people who went to the grave because they went to the streets, because they demanded that Kenya can be a better place. The same demand that you are making. Let us do that. Let us come out in our numbers. And ultimately, let us not ignore the Kenyan street. Be it in elections, get out in your numbers. Register as voters. Make decisions. Be it at public participation forums, get out in your numbers. Make the public participation realistic. And if you are ignored, get up in your numbers the way you did the other day and went on the street and pushed the bar and went over the top. clear at how power is acquired in this country. And I go back to chapter 7, which addresses elections. The standard of elections in Kenya is no longer free and fair. After the 207 clashes around elections, we had a Kriegler commission. After that, we had the constitution, and our constitution requires a tamper-proof election. Free and fair, the talk of free and fair elections are not in the architecture of our constitution. A tamper-proof election, an election that is done in real time, an election that concludes at the constituency, where we know who have been elected, the MCA, who has been elected member of the National Assembly, who has been elected women rep, who has been elected governor, who has been elected senator, who has been elected president in that constituency. Then if those offices that require further aggregation can be done, like the county offices and the presidency, but coming up with bombers should never happen. Bombers should never happen. Let us have the digital election that's anticipated. Let it be possible for somebody in Mombasa to vote in Moyale without having to travel to Moyale to vote. Let it be possible to have our results announced within minutes. There's no reason why we should take so long to have the results announced. If things are done digitally, it will be instant. And the good thing with the digital platforms is that even if they're compromised and somebody puts an algorithm which can corrupt things, those who know how to look at these gadgets will just simply look in a matter of moments and say there was this thing that was interfering with the results. Remove the algorithm and the correct results come. So let us go digital. We have gone digital in money. We transact billions of shillings every day in this country digitally. There is no reason why the politicians are blocking us from having digital elections in this country where the cream can rise to the top. What we are having right now, the cream cannot rise to the top. Only rubbish rises to the top. And on very, very rare occasions, do you get the cream rising to the top. And that's the crisis we have. The crisis of representation. We shall only cure that crisis of representation when we embrace digital elections that will be able to make it impossible for human hands to interfere and go scot-free. So I pen off by saying thank you very much. I'll continue listening. I usually listen in these groups, sometimes through friends' notes, but you people are making a lot of progress. Don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. The struggle is not a walk in the park. Even if you remain a single person, go ahead. When I fought for the National Theatre in 1994, everybody feared. I made a demonstration that I was alone. I made a one-man demo along the streets of Nairobi. I was arrested. I was locked up. I came out through a hunger strike. So let us not worry about the numbers. Even if just one person comes out, that's important. So thank you very much. Thank you very much.